So you know how you've heard a tower, right? Or everything changes, or all these things, right? It's basically, or a midlife crisis, or identity crisis, or all these things. It is what you identified as, how you saw yourself no longer exists. Kids leave the nest, right? That's no longer your identity. A mom, you lose your job. That's no longer your identity. You're no longer that title. Whatever the case, like there's millions of these, and we have millions of identities within each of us, right? And you lose those identities over time, which can be a good thing, right? Because if your ego gets too big there, it's just holding you back. And it's only the perception you have anyway, right? Like other people can see you differently than you see yourself. And so then when that identity strips away, you can also see more clearly how others saw you, right? Like, oh, you didn't even see me that way, or you didn't even identify me that way, and so it can be shaky, wonky. And this is why it ends up being a midlife crisis, or it ends up being like all these things, because not only has your perception of who you were and what you once thought, or what you once believed, or what you once held on to is no longer the current case, it could have also been misproportioned, or incorrect, or misunderstood, or da-da-da-da-da-da, okay? And so then you hear seeking to find oneself, right? Rediscover yourself, reinvent yourself, all these things. Because, as you let it go, then you try to be like, okay, well, what do I like and what do whatever? So then you're chasing yourself, right? You're trying to find you. And in doing so, you tend to re-identify, right? Now you're this, now you're that, right? And so I find this all very fascinating, interesting, and comical because of how we are and how we think and what our ego is doing and what we're doing and what we want. And you've heard me say, like, I've had a hard time. It's almost like finding myself, I suppose, or figuring out what I love again, or what I don't like, or what I want. And it's like all the things that once interest you or excited you or delighted you don't seem to have the same juice or flavor. You can't seem to find that spark, right? You need a muse. You need an excitement. You need something to target, right? To enjoy, to dive into, to indulge. And something to go after, a goal, and sometimes that can be really hard for people. It's almost like when you're trying too hard, right? Like there's a million things that I enjoy, but it has been challenging also to find anything that excites me more than getting up to do it, right? Like, which could also sound like depression, right? Like I'd rather lay in bed. But that's often what people are trying to do when they're in those states. Like, what the fuck would get me out of this bed? What would be more enjoyable to me, right? And sometimes we have to just push ourselves out of those spaces. But then when we do, we can almost prove ourselves right? Like, oh, this definitely was not worth getting out of bed for, right? And this all can be attitude and mindset and focus and all these things we do or attempt to do or try to see or learn or understand or decide, decipher, choose, but then it is the trap or the trick almost to not re-identify, to make it all of you, I suppose, right? Like you're not any one thing or any one title, or we're always evolving, changing, morphing. And remember they were showing the other day the jumpy cat. It's like maybe that's part of it too. It's like sometimes we get jumpy where we're like, oh, we want to dive into something, but we're like, oh, but don't I identify us as that. Can I just enjoy this without being like all of a sudden pigeonholed into that arena, right? Like anytime you do something and if you do it well or you enjoy it or you love it, all of a sudden that's who you are. And it's like, is it? It is? According to whom? Wait, what? How did that happen? Right? And it's like somebody sees you do something that you're good at, and you're good at many of things, and that just happens to be the thing that they're impressed by. But they didn't say the 10 million other things that you do that they might also be impressed by, or they don't care about. So they just focus on that one thing, and then everybody else focuses on that one thing, and then there you go. You're now pigeonholed there, if you so choose, right? In other words, it's like that's the fine line. That is the fine line, right? Where you have to be sure that you are choosing and not your ego going, oh, look, we're getting validation. Like, did you want this? Do you still enjoy it? Are you doing it because you love it? Or now you're doing it because you get. And that's not always a bad thing. But again, it's that fine line, right? Where you don't let the ego get too inflated, right? Like you have to have that balance. I just find it funny. I really do. It's like we're always running one way or the other instead of settling in. But as soon as we settle in, we can only settle in for so long before the boredom sets in, or the identity of the unidentity. Oh, good Lord. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.